Hello, everybody. I think I got too much glare here for whatever reason, so let's see if I can tone that down just a hair so it's not so bright here. We don't want to get ourselves we can't see anything. All right, I think we are okay now. If I'm not mistaken. Sure, we got everything in place. I think we do right here. All right, as you can see, this is not Strat-O-Matic or History Maker Baseball. I'm going to give Payoff Pitch another look, and I decided to look into this doing the 1972 Steve Carlton replay because in my discussions with people in the past about Payoff Pitch, one of the things was that the pitcher's too tough, then it overemphasizes it and gives an advantage too much to the pitcher because the pitcher has so much control. Well, Steve Carlton was 27-10 with a 1.97 ERA. So we're going to play this and see if we're going to play not just this game, but the whole replay of his. Now, I already did game one on Strat-O-Matic, so I'm not going to redo that game. I left that. I put the stats in the action PC, and we're just going to go with that, which Carlton won, giving up 3 runs. But now we're going to switch over to Payoff Pitch, and we're going to use that for the replay. The score sheet came from Rombo's Baseball Sim Research. It's free. Download it if you like. It's got the ratings already on there for the Payoff Pitch cards, so you don't have to keep writing down yourself or keep track of it on any other location. Good pitching matchup. Bob Gibson will be facing Steve Carlton in this one. This game was played April the 19th, 1972. And the Phillies won this game real world 1-0. A triple by Willie Montañez to lead off the bottom of the 6th, followed by a Darren Johnson single, and that was it. Both pitchers pitched complete games, and the Phillies won it 1-0. We are at Veterans Stadium. Home runs on the wheelhouse for Veterans Stadium: 1-29 for lefties, 1-55 for right-handers. We do have the fast action card deck here, so I'm going to take these and shuffle them some more, so you can tell they weren't stacked or weren't whatever. In fact, I'm going to shuffle these and then flip them over when I'm done. And I'm going to flip them over and put them right here so you can see where they are. And then as we need the fast action cards, we'll pull them out. Games can be driven by dice, but when we're calling for base runners or defense or something like that, we'll go the fast action cards. That way it avoids all the charts. All right, let's see if there's anything else. Oh, okay. I did download this into my PDF editor, so I was able to go in manually and type in the bench players and the bullpens for each of these teams. I know you can't see Philly because it's down here, but they got their benches and bullpen guys that were available on this date, and I'm using Action PC Baseball as the reference for that. So that way I know who I've got and who I don't have. And that way, if you wonder why you didn't bring somebody in, well, they weren't on the roster. They're not there. So that's just the way that goes. So we are at Veterans Stadium, and we do have Steve Carlton. Oops, Veterans Stadium up here. We do have Steve Carlton, and he's going to be facing Bob Gibson. But for the Cardinals, they line up Lou Brock, Ted Sizemore, Matty Alou, Don Clendenin, Ted Simmons, Jose Cruz, Ed Crosby, Dal Maxfield, and Bob Gibson. And defensively for the Phillies, you got Bo at short, McCarver catching, Montañez in center, Darren Johnson at first, the Bull, Greg Luzinski in left, Don Money at third, Mike Anderson in right, Denny Doyle at second, and Steve Carlton pitching. All right, I think those are all the preliminaries out of the way. I haven't played this game in quite some time, so I'm going to make sure I can remember how to play it. I think I do pretty well. I got the basics now. Some of the things with the base running and defense and whatnot, I might have to default to the fast action cards, and hopefully they will help me out. But we shall see. We're going to give it a go. So, and I decided to record this rather than do it live, because that way, if I decide that I don't want to do a whole replay on this, then you'll never see it. But if you're seeing this, then that means I've already recorded game 3, and we're well on our way to a replay. So, and I'm going to do it if I do it like that, I'm going to do these games every 4 days, almost like, kind of like a rotation for pitching. So that way it feels like you pitches, gets 3 days rest, and then pitches again. And plus, it gives people a chance, if they haven't seen it live, to catch it before the next game. But then again, this may not turn out well, and I may decide not to do it at all. And if that's the case, help if I put my headset on, wouldn't it? If that's the case, then we'll do it this way. All right, so the production on this is going to be very crappy because I started out over bright. Then I started out not having my headset on. So who knows how well this is going to turn out. This could be total garbage. I don't know. In fact, I may even edit the beginning just to start here where we got good sound and everything. I don't know. I'll figure it out when I play it, when I look at it after the fact. But right now we got Steve Carlton and Lou Brock. So just a quick refresher for anybody that has not played the game at all. The 2D6s are going to determine where on the pitcher card we go to. The pitcher's card has qualities. They have tough, patient, defense, in-play, ballpark, things of that nature. And then on corresponding batter cards, you have the different results: patient, tough, in-play, wheelhouse. Now, there is no wheelhouse on Carlton, but there could be. So basically, it's got ballpark, and that's where the home runs are going to come from. But that's what we do. This drives which section we're looking at. And if the 2 D10s that we roll exceed whatever's in the box, we come over here to the out, and the out number tells us what happens. So that's a Reader's Digest elementary version of that. I'm sure people watch this probably have played this game so many times they know what they're doing. So I don't want to bore people to tears. We'll go ahead and get this game rolling. All right, we got an 11. That's tough. And that is a 55. So Brock against a lefty, a tough 55 is actually a base hit. 46 to 56 is a single. So even though Carlton threw a tough pitch, Lou Brock fought it off for a base hit. So how about that? We're going to use the automated steal function. However, his steal number didn't come up the way he wanted it, so he is going to hold. That brings up Ted Sizemore, second baseman. We get a 5, which is tough, and we get 83. 83 is well out of range. 83 comes here at ground ball to short. Ground ball to short. And we're going to add up the 2 D6s, and we get a 5, and see if that's in the double play rating. It is. It's right here. And it does Sizemore have his double play rating? Yes, 9. So the 5 fits lower than both of these, so that will be a double play. It will go 6-4-3. I do use the dice for double play chances. I only use the fast action cards to check errors and range and base running. But for double plays, I use the D6 roll, the original D6 roll. I don't re-roll it. You can re-roll it if you like. It's like I said, you can personalize it, up to you how you want to do it. Here is Matty Alou. Well, we got a hopping dice. We're going to try this again. We get a 2, which is tough, and 76. That's way out of range on the tough range. 76 is a fly to center, and that's going to end the inning. So nothing doing for the Cardinals here in the top of the first. We go to the bottom of the first. St. Louis nothing, and the Phillies coming to bat, and we have Bob Gibson on the mound. Gibson also does not have a wheelhouse in his area. He does have a 4 patient rolls, which was he walked 88 batters in 278 innings, but that's like an awful lot of patient results. But hey, that's the way they rate them. I'm not going to question Joe Bryan on his rating. All right, here's Larry Boa. He will start things off. Mr. Boa. Whoa, we got a hopping dice again. Boy, these D10s don't want to stay in there. Try it again. 8. 8 is tough. 99. Well, 99 is going to be a fly to left, no matter who you are, most likely. I would say 99% of the time that's going to be a fly out. So 1 away. And here's Tim McCarver. 3 is patient, and that's an 86. Patient 86. Against a left-handed pitcher, he would have gotten a hit. Against a right-hander, it's out of range. We'll come over here to 86. It's a ground ball to second. And that is 2 away. Here's Willie Montañez. Center fielder. 3 is patient again. 37. And that's going to be a base hit. Willie Montañez, 36-52, is a base hit in the patient category. So Willie Montañez with the single. Now, his steal is a 2, but that's a 3. So the only way you can steal is if you get a 2 for doing automated steals. So he's not going anywhere. Let's see. He stole 1 base in real world, so we're not going to steal this early here. He has to get a 2 on the 2d6s to get the jump. All right, here's Darren Johnson. We get a 7, which is ballpark, so we're going to Veterans Stadium. That's an 0-2, and that means we're in the wheelhouse. So we come over to Darren Johnson and re-roll for the wheelhouse. A 1-26 will be a home run. 27-28 would be a double. 29-50 is a single, or higher than 50, we got an out. So we re-roll the 2d6s, or d10s rather, and we get a 27, which is going to be a double. A double. Now the question is, well, first of all, there's a second. Well, let's do this. Let's flip it over. Double, opposite field shot, runner advances 2 bases. Now the question is, do I want to do that, or do I want to do the thing where if it's 2 outs, the runner will score if he's a 6 or higher? I think that's kind of slow, so I'm gonna make it 7 or higher. I think the Replay Gamer did that, so I'm gonna say he does not score automatically. So we're gonna make that a double. But since the fast action card said that it was a double and only a 2-base advancement, we're gonna say that he does not score. So Darren Johnson doubles, puts Montañez at third base with 2 outs. Now for the Bull, Greg Luzinski. So Gibson has a chance to get out of this. We get a 12, which is defense, and that's a 77. So first thing we're going to do on the defensive side is we're going to go to, well, we got to figure out who the defensor is on. The chart on a 77 would tell you, but I'm using the fast action card. So we're going to flip that, and under defense, it says it's a possible error on the shortstop. The shortstop in this case is Dow Maxville. His error rating is a 4. All right, so we go to Veterans Stadium under error 4. 1-20 is going to be an error. 21-99 is going to be an out. Well, we got a 77, so that's going to be an out. So it's the third out of the inning, so it doesn't matter. But if we needed to figure it out, I'd flip another fast action card to find out what happened on the out. But since we don't need that, it's just going to be a ground ball to short, and that will end the inning. And I'm sure I'm playing it differently than some people would play it, but that's the beauty of these games. You can kind of tailor it how you like it, as long as you're not obliterating the rules. I mean, as long as you're consistent and you're going to add some home brews. And I mean, it's a hybrid type game. It's kind of designed to be a hybrid type game with the fast action cards and the dice, much like Fall Classic. All right, here is Don Clendenin. Clendenin against Carlton. That's a 7, and that's in play. That's a 32. Clendenin in play against lefties. 32 is too high. It's a pop up to first base. So he'll pop it up to Darren Johnson, 1 away for the catcher, Ted Simmons. And believe me, this is a little bit awkward playing this because I haven't played it so long, so I'm hoping I'm not butchering this. I'm hoping not. 6 is Patient, 49. Simmons against the lefty, Patient, 49. It's going to be a base hit right there, 46-68. So Ted Simmons gets the base hit. He's a 2-4 steal, and that's a 6, so he could not get a jump. Again, he only stole 1 base for the whole season. And here's Jose Cruz. He's more known with the Astros, but he started his career earlier on with the Cardinals. So Jose Cruz. The 4 is Tough, 35, and that's going to be a strikeout. The first strikeout for Carlton. That Tough 35 found the strikeout. And there's 2 away now for Ed Crosby. Don't know much about Ed Crosby at all, but he was the third baseman in this game, which is weird because they got Joe Torre who could play third base, but against a lefty Carlton, but they decided to use a lefty Crosby. Don't ask me, ask the manager. 1-9. I'm sorry, I'm thinking Strat. I got Strat on the brain here. 9 is Ballpark, and that's a 31. So ballpark 31 with a lefty is going to be an in play. On a righty, it'd be wheelhouse, but on a lefty, it's in play. So we're going to do in play, and we're going to re-roll on the in play for Crosby. 1 to 29, he gets a hit. 30 or higher, he's out. That's a 63, so that's going to be a ground ball to short. And since it's the third out of the inning, don't have to worry about whether it's a double play or not. We would look at we'd have to re-roll the 2D6s and whatnot to check all that, but that's not necessary now since that's the third out. We will now go to the bottom of the second. No score, and Don Money, third baseman, steps up for the Phillies. Don Money. See, there might even be still too much glare on here, so let's see if I can tone this down to one more notch, maybe. Get it as low as I can get it, hopefully. Let's see if that helps any better. I don't know. All right, here we go. Gibson to Money. We got a 5, and that's in play. That's an 88, though, so something that high is going to be an out. 88's a ground ball to short. So ground ball to short. Money is out of there. One down. I got the game up on the Action PC computer game, but I'm going to score it after the game is over. I don't want to go back and forth. I'd rather play this through and then go through and score it at the end. So here is Mike Anderson. We get a 3, which is Patient 42. Patient 42 will, against a right-hander, is going to be a walk, 1 to 55. So first walk issued by Gibson. Anderson, again, is a 2 steal. That's only a 3, so cannot go anywhere. That'll bring up Denny Doyle. See if Denny Doyle had gotten a 3, he'd have a chance to steal, but it's not going to happen. So here's Doyle. 10, which is tough. 04, and low numbers in the tough category, almost always a strikeout. And that is actually the first strikeout for Gibson. So 2 down, and here comes Steve Carlton, and both of these pitchers are using pitcher hitting card number 10. Very, very good hitters, apparently. So pitcher hitting card number 10 it is. That's a 9, which is tough, and a 00. That's going to be a rare play. Boy, that's the one thing I forgot to bring out. When you set up the play here, you think you have everything handy, and I forgot I didn't have because I wasn't using the charts, so I forgot all about the charts. But we need the rare play charts. If I can remember what happened to them or what I did with them. I don't even remember what I did with them. Been so long since I played this game, I don't even remember what I did with the rare play charts. That's funky. I don't even know what I did with the rare play charts. Well, that's pretty bad. I have no idea what I did with the rare play charts. They're somewhere. But like I said, I haven't played this game in so long. I have no idea where they would be. I looked in my payoff pitch box and it's not there. Let me check again. Make sure I didn't. Oh, wait a minute. I put something else on top of it. That's what I did. I had them over here and I put something on top of it. I didn't see it at first, but now I've got them. So, okay. So it's not all lost. So let's get it was a 00 and it was tough. So it's a tough, rare play. So we're going to runners on base tough. Runners on base tough. There's part of it. Where's the other tough? All right, here we go. So I've got these 2 charts. For 0 through 34, runners on base tough, we're using this. And for 35 through 99, we'll use this one. So we need to roll the actually, I'm going to go ahead and use the fast action card, I think, this time around. And we get a 76, okay? So 76, so that means runners on base tough, and we're checking number 76. Batter strikes out on awkward swing, check batter for injury. Well, I'm not going to do injuries on Steve Carlton when I'm doing a Steve Carlton replay, so that's not going to happen. It's a strikeout, and we'll leave it at that. But that would defeat the whole purpose of doing the replay. All right, so that will end the inning. Nothing doing after 2 innings, no score. And now we go to the top of the third. It'll be Maxfield, Gibson, and Brock. And Gibson again will use pitch reading card number 10 as well. So, yeah, I'm shaking the rust off with the payoff pitch. So, and you can see that. So, bear with me as I try to get this thing from being so messed up. All right, Maxville 9 on Carlton's ballpark. That's a 28. Go to 28, and he is a right-handed hitter. That's in the wheelhouse for Maxville. So Dow Maxville, his wheelhouse result is 1 to 8 for a home run, 38 or less is a single. Anything else higher than that is going to be a home run. I mean, a out. And since I already used these dice, I think I'll go ahead and use the fast action card again for that D20 roll. Flip it over, we get a 40, and that just misses what would have been a single. 40 instead is a ground ball right back to Carlton, and that's one away. So one day I could have re-rolled the D10s again if I chose to. I just decided that time to use the fast action card instead. And now we're looking at Bob Gibson. He's using number 10. We get an 11 for Carlton, which is tough, and 61. Most pitcher hitting cards, no matter how good they are, if you're in the tough range, it's probably a strikeout. You had to be in the 90s to get a hit, but 1 to 89 is a strikeout. So second strikeout for Carlton as he takes care of Gibson. 2 down now for Lou Brock. Get a 5, which is tough. 08, and that's going to be another strikeout to get those low numbers in the tough category, and you're looking at a strikeout all the way. So nothing doing there for the St. Louis Cardinals. Go to the bottom of the third. Still no score. Back to the top of the order for Larry Boa. And I'm working on my setup. I mean, sometimes when I play a payoff pitch, I use their field. Sometimes I do it this way. So it's all an experiment just to try to get comfortable and try to figure out what my, to pardon the pun, what my wheelhouse would be. So we'll play it by ear. We'll try it this way for this game and see what happens next game, assuming there is a next game. All right, here's Boa. 6 is tough. 77. That's going to be out of range. 77's a fly to center, and that's 1 away. Here's Tim McCarver. And I know that there's a PC version or something coming out with this shortly, so, or I don't know about shortly. I don't know what the time frame is, but it has kind of piqued the interest to payoff pitch, so I thought I'd give it a go with the cards and dice again. 3 is patient, and that's a 68. McCarver patient, 68. Nope, 63 is the highest number you can have in reach base, so 68 is going to be a ground ball to short. And McCarver for years caught Bob Gibson, so if anybody knows Bob Gibson, it's probably Tim McCarver. 2 down for Willie Montañez. That's a 6, which is tough. 61, just out of range. 57 was as high as it would go. 61's a fly to left. And that will end the inning. So no score through 3 innings of play. Carlton back out, and he'll be facing Sizemore, Alou, and Clendenin here in the top of the 4th of a scoreless game. I'm slowly getting the flow back now on inside pitch. Might take me a little bit. Hopefully, if I do another game of this, if I do game 3 against San Francisco, which Carlton would be facing Juan Marichal, so it's a good game to do. Assuming I do that, hopefully it'll be a lot smoother presentation than what you're seeing here today, or whenever you're watching it. 12 is tough. 23, and Sizemore, 23 against a left-hander is a double in the tough category. So Sizemore fights this one off and gets a leadoff double. How about that? So tough doesn't always mean out by any means. If you get a good number on the D10s, you can get a base hit. And here's Matty Alou, another nice feature they have on these cards. Matty Alou got traded to the Oakland A's right before the trading deadline. So it shows you he was on the roster from the 15th to the 26th. So they give you those little dates there. That's kind of a nice little touch that they had there. 4 is tough, and that is a 61. Tough 61. 35 is as high as it'll go there. Tough 61 is a fly to left field. 1 away. And the thought is, particularly on tough fly outs, that the runners hold. I've never seen anything where you don't hold on a tough fly out. All right, here is Don Clendenin. 7, and that's in play, 34, but that's out of range. 34 is a pop up to third. So 2 down, and now Carlton 1 out away from pitching out of the mess. And here's Ted Simmons in a clutch situation. We get a 9, which is ballpark. That's a 49, and that will be in play because Simmons is it'll be a wheelhouse because Simmons is a switch hitter against the lefty. He's batting right-handed, so that's actually a wheelhouse result. That is a wheelhouse result because of that. So now I can either re-roll the D10s for the wheelhouse or I can flip the fast action cards. I've been flipping the fast action cards, so I guess I'll do it again. We are looking in a wheelhouse for Simmons against the left-handed pitcher. 1 to 30 is going to be a home run. Anything 73 or less is going to be an RBI single. 74 or higher, he's out. That's a 14. That's gone. Ted Simmons just hit a 2-run home run to put the St. Louis Cardinals on the board 2-0. Look at it again. That was a 14. We had the wheelhouse result, and that's a 14. So 1 to 30. It is out of here. So the Cardinals lead it 2-0. And that brings up Jose Cruz. Maybe I should have rolled the D10s. Who knows? Too late to worry about now. I've started my process with the fast action card, checking that second D10 number, so I'm going to stick that right. Instead of having to re-roll the dice. I'd rather not have to re-roll the dice if I can get by with it. Here's Carlton. 6 is patient. 52, and that's a base on balls. So Carlton issuing his first walk. Maybe that home run rattled him a bit. I don't know. Here's Ed Crosby. That is a 12, which is tough, 98, and that's going to be a fly to right to end the inning. But the 2-run home run from Ted Simmons gives the Cardinals a 2-0 lead over the Phillies here at the Vet. And Bob Gibson's been given that lead to work with. He's going to face Darren Johnson, Greg Luzinski, and Don Money. Get these used fast action cards out of the way. Keep the deck in play here. We get a 5, which is in play. 81, though, that's definitely out of range. That is a ground ball to short. And Mr. Maxwell will take care of that. 1 away. One thing I really like about and always have liked about the payoff pitch cards is they are so good quality. It'd be nicer if they had a little bit more team color. I know they got a little stripe here, but it'd be nice if they had a little bit more team color. But the quality of the of the material of the cards is bar none the best in the business. All right, here's Greg Luzinski. 7, ballpark. That's a 40, and that means it's going to be in the wheelhouse because he's a right-handed batter. So wheelhouse for Luzinski against right-handers is 1 to 43. So we're going to flip this over. It's a 1 to 43. It's a home run. If it's an 80 or less, it's at least a single. We get a 00. So I'm not sure. Now I got to worry about how to do that. I think we go to wheelhouse rare play. I think that's what we're supposed to do with that. Because there is a rare play for wheelhouse. So let me go to the bases empty. Bases empty. At least I think there's a wheelhouse. Yeah, there it is. Ballpark or wheelhouse. Bases empty. So now, since I already flipped the fast action card, we're going to roll the dice for the rare play. And that's a 71. 71 says batter hits a deep drive. The center fielder leaps at the wall. If the fielder has an A range, he snares the ball, robbing the batter of a home run. Otherwise, a fan reaches out and takes the ball away from the fielder. After several minutes of deliberation, the umpire rules to play a home run for the batter. So we're checking the A range. We're checking the A range of the fielder. Now the question is, who is the fielder? That's the other part. How do we know who the fielder is? Oh, it says it. Center fielder. Duh. All right, so we're checking the center fielder. In this case, that is Jose Cruz. What is his range? Jose Cruz is only a B range. If he was an A range, he would have robbed the home run, but he's only a B range. So that means Greg Luzinski's home run is good. And the bull, it's a wall scraper. One of the fans out there reached over the wall and got it. Cruz thought it was interference, but the umpire says, not this time, fella. And it is a solo shot for Luzinski to cut the lead to 2-1. So it took me a quick second just to think about what to do there. So when you haven't played the game in a while, certain things make you pause for a second. At least they make me pause for a second. And then we move on. So I'm thinking I got it right. So hopefully I did. All right, that'll bring up Don Money. That's a 5. That's in play, and that's a 94. It's well at range. That's a fly to left for out number 2. And I'm trying to get as close to the cards as I can so you can see them, but keep the peripherals so you can see the dice tray. I guess you don't have to see the fast action cards till I flip them. But I kind of like to keep it a little bit, where you can see stuff. Here's Anderson. 11 is Patient. 33, that's going to be a base on balls. Second time Anderson has walked, and those have been the 2 walks issued by Mr. Gibson. So that brings up Denny Doyle, runner at first and 2 outs. We get an 8, which is tough, 73, and that's going to be a fly to center to end the inning. So the Phillies answer the Cardinal 2-run homer with a solo shot of their own. And at the end of 4 complete, it is 2-1 St. Louis over the Phillies. It'll be Maxfield, Gibson, and Brock stepping up here for the top of the 5th. That's a 4. That's tough. 42. Tough 42 for Maxfield is going to be a base hit. There it is right there. 42 to 51 is a base hit. And now that's going to allow Gibson to bunt. And now I got to remember how I did the bunt. It says on the card here, use the bunt grade on the pitcher's pitching card. So Gibson's bunt grade is a C. That means he's right-handed. He uses pitcher hitting card number 10, and his bunt rate is C. All right. So we're going to use a fast action card to see if he has a good bunt or not. On the fast action cards, I'll pull out one we used previously. It tells you who they are with their letter grade and what happens. So we're going to go ahead and have him bunt. He's a C bunter. So we'll see what the fast action card produces. It says sacrifice hit to third base. So there you go. That's where the fast action card makes it easier. Sacrifice hit went to the third baseman Money. He throws to the second baseman Doyle covering first base, and Maxfield will take second base. So he's in scoring position with 1 out, and boy, that bunt turned out a whole lot easier than I thought it was going to be. The fast action cards make it easy, let me tell you. Here's Lou Brock. 8. 8 is tough. 0-3, that's going to be a strikeout for Lou Brock. And that's strikeout number 4 for Carlton. 2 down, and here's Ted Sizemore. He doubled and scored in front of the home run from Simmons in his last trip to the plate. That's an 8, and that is tough, 79, and that's going to send it to fly to center, where center fielder Montañez will make the play and end the inning. So the sacrifice bunt doesn't produce a chance for a run, but, with the pitcher batting, that's kind of the default thing to do. And now we have the pitcher, Steve Carlton, batting. That's a 5, which is in play, and that's an 89. So 89 is going to be a ground ball to short. And that's 1 away. Back to the top of the order for Larry Boa. Boa is 0 for 2. That's a 4. That's Patient, 28. Patient, 28, and that's going to be a single for Larry Boa. That is a 4. Boa's steal rate is a 4, so he can get the jump to steal if he so chooses. His steal rating is a C. Now, if you look at one of the fast action cards, and you look at stealing, let's look at the catcher arm, and let's see, the catcher is Simmons. His arm is a 4. The arm is a 4. Boa stealing is a C. So it's a C4. And I believe this is one I got to use a chart for. C and a 4 for base stealing. So let me pull that up here. Yeah, here we go. A C and a 4. So the C and the 4 falls right here into very good. So there's 2 options. I can roll 2 D10s and check it here, or I could flip a fast action card under very good and see what happens. So I got my choices here. I'll go ahead and do the fast action card. Why not? So looking at the chart, we're in the C4 here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to roll the dice. I'll take it back. I'm going to roll the 2 D10s. So let's roll the 2 D10s. And that's a 25. And 25 says he's caught stealing. How about that? He got caught stealing. He would have been safe 27 to 99, but he got caught stealing. Crime doesn't pay, Mr. Boa. And I hope I did that stolen base right. Somebody let me know if I didn't, because like I said, it's been a while since I played this game. So it's going to go 2 to 6 on the caught stealing. And now there's 2 away bases empty from a Carver. Maybe I should have done this game live so I could have gotten feedback instantaneously, but whatever. 5 is in play. I'm sure there'll be plenty in the comments to tell me how bad I'm playing this game. 5 is in play, 86, and that's going to be a ground ball to second. And that will end the inning. So nothing going on there for the Phils. We go to the 6th. Score still remains 2-1. Carlton back out. He's got a fatigue of 8. Gibson has a fatigue of 8. And remember, in the real game, they both pitch complete games. So as long as they're somewhat effective, fatigue is not going to be a problem. And that's one thing in this game. You do not want to go to the fatigue pitching card in this game because you get punished big time. Here's Matty Alou. That's a 7, which is in play 84, and that's way out of range. 84 is a fly to center field, and that is 1 away. That'll bring up Don Clendenin. That's an 8, which is tough. 55 against the lefty, and that is a strikeout. And for Carlton, that's strikeout number 5. 2 up, 2 down for Ted Simmons. His homer accounts for the 2 runs for the Cardinals. He's actually singled and homered. He's 2 for 2. 6 is patient, 84. That's well out of range. 84 is going to be a fly to center to end the inning. So nothing doing there in the 6th. We go to the bottom of the 6th, still 2-1. Favor of the Redbirds. It'll be Montañez, Johnson, and Luzinski due up for the Phils here in the bottom of the 6th. That is a 9 and an 0-3. 9 is tough, and 0-3, that's a strikeout big time. When you get that low number on a tough, you're pretty much cooked. And that is strikeout number 3 for Bob Gibson. Here's Darren Johnson. 2 is patient, 43. And that's going to be a base hit for Darren Johnson. He's 2 for 3. And he is a 2, but he's not very good with those stealing. He's an F stealer, so he's not going anywhere. They just had a pretty good base steal to get caught, so they're not going to risk it now. Here's the bull, especially with Luzinski coming up. He homered his last time up. That's a 4, which is patient, 37, and that's going to be a base hit. Base hit. Patient 37 is a base hit. We use the fast action card. And it says a long single in the gap in center field. Runner advances 1 base. So it's a 1 base advancement. Johnson can only get, it almost sounded like the verbiage that he would get extra bases, but the little card says 1 base, so that's all we're getting. First and second now with 1 out. Tying runs in scoring position for Don Money. That's an 8, which is tough, 40. For Don Money, and that's a strikeout. Strikeout number 4 for Gibson. And now it's up to Mike Anderson, who has walked twice. 10 is tough. He won't walk this time. Tough 93. Oh, he just missed it. Tough 92 would have been a single. But tough 93, it's a fly to left. Just that close to getting a base hit that could tie the game, but didn't quite get there. So 6 innings are in the books, and we're still at a 2-1 ball game. Carlton will be facing Cruz, Crosby, and Maxwell. Cruz has struck out and walked. That's a 7, which is in play, 35. Against the lefty, only goes to 18, so 35 is a pop up to first. 1 away for Ed Crosby. That's a 7, which is in play, 59. That's way out of range. 59 is a fly to left. That's 2 away for Dow Maxwell. Maxwell. 6 is patient, 94. That's, well, 94 against the lefty is in range. 74 to 97 is a hit. So how about that? Maxwell, 2 for 3 with that single. And that allows Bob Gibson to go ahead and hit this inning instead of leading off the next inning. Well, he's a pretty good hitter, too, so it's not automatic by any means. 7 is in play, 50, but it only goes to 22, so 50 is a ground ball to third. And since it's already 2 outs, we don't even have to check for double plays or anything like that. So that's going to take care of that. We go to the 7th inning stretch here at Veterans Stadium. Score still 2-1 Cardinals. And it'll be the bottom of the order, Doyle, Carlton, and Boa. 4 is patient, 30. And a patient 30 is going to be a base hit for Denny Doyle. That will allow Carlton to bunt. And again, Carlton, he is a C bunter. So they're hoping it's going to work. He's a C bunter, and we're going to flip a fast action card to see if the sacrifice is good. C bunter, it is good, back to the pitcher. So it is a sacrifice bunt right back to Gibson, 1-4, and that will get the runner second base. So each of the pitchers has had a successful sacrifice bunt in this game. And now that will take us to Larry Boa. 8 is tough, 40. Tough 40 is going to be out of range. 40 is a ground ball back to the mound, and the runner on second will just have to freeze there. So 2 away, and it's up to Tim McCarver in the clutch if the Phillies are going to tie this ball game. 4 is patient, 69. Patient only goes to 63. 69 is a ground ball to short, and Maxwell takes care of it. And down go the Phillies here in the 7th. So we go to the 8th. We do go to the 8th inning. Still 2-1. At the top of the order, Brock, Sizemore, and Alou due up. Brock, Sizemore, and Alou. Let me see. I think I can move these down and move this over here so that we still have room on the score sheet there. I think I can do it that way. All right. You still have the fast action cards as well. All right, here's Lou Brock. He's 1 for 3. That's a 7 in play, 35. Only goes to 32, so a 35 is a pop out to second. 1 away to start the 8th. Here's Ted Sizemore. 6 is patient, 31, and that's going to be a base on balls for Sizemore. And for Carlton, that is walk number 2. He's walked 2 and struck out 5 to this point. Sizemore steal is a 3, but that's a 6, so he can't get a jump. So we'll go to Matty Alou. 6 is patient again, 88. Only goes to 74. 88 is a ground ball to second, possible double play. This is a 6. He's a 6, and he's a 7, so it will be a double play. It'll be a Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play, 4-6-3. Second double play turn by the Phillies, and that will end the inning. So we go to the bottom of the 8th. Still a 2-1 ball game. Still a 2-1 ball game for Willie Montañez. It'll be Montañez, Johnson, and Luzinski due up. That's a 7, which is ballpark. 46 And a lefty 46 is going to be in play. Not going to be the wheelhouse. It's in play. So since I already used the D10s, I don't want to re-roll them. I'm going to go straight to the fast action card. We're looking for the 2D10 number on the next card and see if it's between, well, it's in play. So on Montañez, he's got to get a 1 to 28 to get a hit. That's a 26, so he gets the base hit for Montañez. Montañez a single. So Montañez is the tying run. He's on first base with nobody out for Darren Johnson. That's a 7 ballpark 80, and that's definitely in play. So we're going right back to where we came from, in play again. And on Darren Johnson, it's 1 to 24. That's a 35. So that's going to be a ground ball back to Gibson. Possible double play. That's a 7. Darren Johnson's an 8, but he's only a 6, so it won't be a double play. They'll get the fielder's choice, and that is it. If Gibson's rating had been a 7 or higher, it would have been a double play. But the 7 exceeds his 6. These two D6s have to be equal or less than both of these numbers. This one passed for Johnson because he's an 8, but it failed for Gibson. So it's going to be a 1 to 4 fielder's choice. And that'll bring up Luzinski with Johnson at first base. 1 out. Luzinski, the batter. He's homered and singled, 2 for 3. That's a 5, which is in play, 37, but that's out of range. 37 is a pop up to first. 2 away as Clendenin hauls it in. Now here's Don Money. That's a 7, which is ballpark, 51, and that's in the wheelhouse. You can see right here, 51 fits in that 1 to 55 range. So it is a wheelhouse for Don Money. And since we already used the D10s, we're going to use the fast action card to check this next number. He needs a 1 to 31. If he gets a 1 to 31, he'll hit a 2-run homer, and the Phillies will take the lead. A 1 to 61, you're at least going to get a base hit. Anything over 61, the inning's over. And the flip is an 0-5. That's gone. Don Money, a 2-run home run for Don Money here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And the Phillies lead it 3 to 2. Don Money, that 0-5 definitely fits his range. And how do you like that? Gibson is ticked. A 2-out homer in the bottom of the 8th. And here's Mike Anderson. 9 is tough 40, and that's a strikeout to end the inning. But damage done. 2-run home run from Don Money. All runs in this game have come via the home run. A 2-run homer from Simmons, solo shot from Luzinski, and a 2-run homer from Money has accounted for all the runs. You can see I've got the benches and bullpens for all these teams, but we haven't gone there yet. So Steve Carlton will be facing Clendenin, Simmons, and Cruz. Cardinal bench, they do have a right-hander, Joe Torre. They don't have much on the bench otherwise, though, particularly from the right side. They do have a switch hitter, Martinez, Luis Melendez. Martinez is a terrible hitter, though. Melendez and Torre. Torre hits .310 against lefties. He is .235 against lefties. Clendenin was traditionally used against lefties, though, so I think we're going to keep him in there. They may pinch hit for Cruz, the lefty, so we're going to have Torre ready to go if he's needed. But they're going to start with Clendenin. He was one of the heroes of the '69 Mets, and he usually traditionally will crush left-handed pitching. So not so in '72. He didn't have that good of a year in '72. But they didn't know that going in. They weren't going to pull him, obviously. We know after the fact we probably should pull him, but we're going to play it realistically. Tough 42, and that's going to be a strikeout. Strikeout number 6 for Carlton. That brings up Simmons, who homered. 2-run homer in the 4th for the 2 runs. He's 2 for 3. That is a 6, which is patient, 71. That's out of range. 71's a ground ball to second. Now Carlton 1 out away from a complete game, and they will pinch hit for Cruz with Joe Torre. So Joe Torre crushes lefties. Cruz struggles at 154 against lefties. So they will go with Joe Torre. So we scratch off Joe Torre, and we put Torre right here. Torrey is the #1 spot. So Torrey is your pinch hitter. And against lefties, he hit .310. And his wheelhouse, not too bad. Not that great, but at least he's got a good chance to get on base with a .310 hitter. That's a 7, which is in play, but that's a 79. So even Joe Torre can't do anything with that. That's a fly to center, and the ball game is over. Steve Carlton and the Phillies win it by the score of 3-2. Your final. And we'll get the numbers. Both pitchers had complete games. Gibson going 8 innings for his, and Carlton going 9 innings for him. Carlton now 2-0 on the replay. And we'll figure out the totals. Let's see, 3 runs and 2 runs. And no, they were all earned because they were home runs. So 2 home runs given up by Gibson, 1 by Carlton. Total hits for the Cardinals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits. And if I mess this up in the totals, the Action PC computer will take care of it. 2 walks, so these are unofficial till it goes in the computer. 2 walks and 6 strikeouts. I'm sorry, I did the wrong thing. That was Carlton's 2 walks and 6 strikeouts. What was I doing here? These should have gone in Carlton's spot, not in Gibson's spot. So Carlton gave up the 6 hits and got the 2 walks with the 6 strikeouts. Now for the Phillies, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hits. I've got them for. And in the real game, Gibson gave up 11 hits and a run. Here he gives up 9 hits and 3 runs. He walks 2. He walked Anderson twice. Those were his only 2 walks. And he struck out, I believe, 4. So those are the unofficial totals there. So we come over here, and I don't think neither team made an error. So it's 3 runs, 9 hits, and no errors for the Phillies. 2 runs, 6 hits, and no errors for the Cardinals. And, of course, the winning pitcher is Steve Carlton. He is 2-0 now. And so I had all this stuff down here for the bullpen and benches and never really used anybody except for Joe Torre. But I thought it was kind of nice to have it there so that people know who's available and who's not. And sometimes when I watch people play, I'm like, okay, they're bringing people off the bench, but I don't know who their choices were. I mean, who do they have to choose from? Could they have picked somebody better maybe? And so it's nice to know who's available and who's not, at least for me when I'm watching. So I try to play the game the way I would want to watch it, for lack of a better term. So that's my maiden voyage, I guess you want to call it, in Payoff Pitch Bob Gibson 1972 replay. Game 2. Game 1 was done with Strat-O-Matic, so I'm not going to undo that. I'm just going to keep that. I'll put this into the Action PC computer in a few minutes. And then Game 3, we will be in San Francisco. I believe it's in Candlestick Park, where the Phillies will travel to play San Francisco. And on the mound for the Giants will be Juan Marichal. So Carlton drew Ferguson Jenkins in Game 1. He draws Bob Gibson in Game 2, and he's going to draw Juan Marichal in Game 3. So he's not exactly hitting, you're not getting any free passes here with schlubs on the mound. He's got to deal with probably the best pitchers on each team, at least in the first 3 starts. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Try not to mess it up too much. Like I said, I'm going to play another game. I'm going to play Game 3. And then if I like the way those 2 turned out, then I'll start uploading these. So if you see this, then you know Game 3 is coming. Put it that way. So that's going to do it from here. I want to get something different on the table, so they're always doing Strat or always doing History Maker. So I thought I'd throw something else out there differently. And 72 Steve Carlton was the one guy. I mean, the only one I would have done differently is, and I don't even think Payoff Pitch had 68. I would have done the Bob Gibson 68, but they don't have that. I don't believe. If they do, I don't have the 68 set. So this is my next best guess right here. So that's the way I ran it, and it actually, with the good pitching and everything, it went fairly quickly. I know I was doing the 2020, I think it was 2022 Yankees with Payoff Pitch. I was trying to do a full season replay. There were so many doggone strikeouts. I was kind of punishing the Payoff Pitch game itself without realizing it's the season that's causing all that, not the payoff pitch engine. It was the season that did it. So we're giving this game another shake. Actually, that was a very I mean, to me, I had fun playing it. Maybe it's because it's it's a little bit new because I haven't played in a while. Maybe if I start playing this game like 4 times a week, it'll start getting old. I don't know, and I'm still learning the flow, when to use the fast action card, when to use the dice, that sort of thing. And yeah, so there you go. All right, so if you see this, that means the third game is coming, and that means the replay is moving on. And of course, if you don't see it, you won't see it the way it is. And you'll wonder where I was and why I didn't record it. Why I didn't do it a game today. It's because I recorded this. So there you go. I'm recording this on Monday, January the 12th, 2026. So not sure when I'm going to upload it. If it uploads enough to do it tonight, I'll do it tonight. If not, I'll do it tomorrow sometime. But we'll see how that all goes. So until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.